Hi, it's Amy, and I'm here today to show you my December daily foundation pages. So the album I decided to end up using this year was the Grey Linen album from Allie Edwards, December daily releases this year. And I also got the big felt numbers and I put the 20 on the front. I just hot glue gunned these on. I was a little bit nervous about seeing the hot glue from behind the felt, so I was just really careful to put the glue around the stitching line so that if it did kind of show through a little bit, it would be kind of along those lines and not be too distracting. And so when I first did it, I could see it a little bit more, and now it's quite like I can't really pick it out anymore. So I'm quite happy with how that looks. I am pretty careful with my albums. I keep them in one spot on my shelf. If this comes off, I'm happy to just glue it back on again. But I think it'll be pretty sturdy. I'm not too worried about it coming off. So inside the album here, I like to set things up the way I think I might use them. But for me, this is a pretty flexible plan. Like, I don't have any idea that this is exactly how it's going to turn out. This is just a good guess of things that I want to use. And I tend to use this as an opportunity to kind of tuck really important things to me, like supplies that I really, really like and want to use for sure, tuck them into the pockets so that they're ready to go. I have this grid transparency, which I think was from last year's releases, and then the December 2020 from the Paisley Press mini kit. As long as Liz continues to include these, I will continue to buy the kit because I have them now in the last 3 albums and they're so awesome. I love to have that consistency. So this is something that I hadn't done for a while. I don't always do a reason why or intentions page, but it just felt like it was kind of the right year to set myself up with a bit of a mentality or a way of looking at things, especially because it's so different than usual with everything that's going on. So I thought that might be a really nice way to start it out. And I just kind of did a bit of a stream of consciousness style journaling where I just wrote down what I was thinking, and as my thoughts kind of moved, I just wrote it down, and so I quite like it. And I love how this green and gold and the wood veneer page turned out. I like doing simple color schemes like this, and I had tried several different pieces here, and this ended up being the best. So the leaves and the Santa are from the crepe paper Snow or Merry Days from 2 years ago, and this gold snowflake I think is from this year's collection, the Hey Santa collection. This is from a Paisley Press mini kit, both pieces from an older one. And then these are color cast designs, collaboration with Carrie Bradford. And I did have a couple of questions on Instagram about the tag. This is actually just a part of the card that I cut this out of. And so it's Liz Tamanas writing, and it's most wonderful time of the year. And actually it was almost so perfectly lined up that both sides say, I just cut most wonderful time because the saying was too long to fit into the tab. This is not an Avery tab. This is, I think, from Office Max, but it's the same kind of thing. So you'll notice that I already have some pictures in here. Part of my big thing, if you've watched me for any length of time, is I pre-prepare and over-pre-prepare. So I often have a lot of stuff ready to go in advance. In this case, that even includes printing our family photos from our family photo section. These are going to be our Christmas card photos this year. But I tend to take photos of my home decor through November. If we have any early events, I take those as well. Baking days, coffee photos, those kinds of things are things that I like to have ready in advance. And so I take those photos in advance when I can. And I have no illusions that this is going to be a representation of what I did on that day. For me, it's more like an advent calendar countdown style thing. And I'm not too worried about exactly how that looks for me. This is more from that Color Cast Designs and Carrie Bradford collection, the little houses, and I just wrote Our Holiday Tradition. This will likely move later on in the album, but for now I popped it here. We have a bit of a lights looking tradition, and so I'm not sure exactly when we'll do that this year, but I know that we will, so that'll go in there somewhere. This is from last year's December Daily Advent Calendar, and I just cut the flap off of the envelope and then used my 1-inch circle punch to create that little hole, and I'll have something that pulls out of here. Last year I think I did a reading list or maybe a playlist, I can't remember exactly what that one was, and it pulled to the side instead of up and down. And so this year I'll try pulling it up and down. My basic color scheme this year is going to be neutrals with the dark green and the pink. Slight little pops of bright red, but nothing too red. I don't want to get too deep into the red. I'm really loving this pink and green aesthetic. And so the Snowflake collection from last year fits into that really well. And the Paisley Press mini kit fits into it really well as well. So you can see I've got numbers here. This one I have 5 different 5s because I saw a cool thing with that, so I'm going to try to do something. This is one of the page protectors from Citrus Twist Kits. So it's a 4x6 vertical and then a 2x4 at the bottom. So these are really cool page protectors. They're designed, of course, for the Life Crafted albums, but because she has the same ring design as Allie's and a lot of other planners and stuff like that, you can use these in a lot more places than just in her Life Crafted albums. And come back to the channel because I am doing a project in a Life Crafted album this year for December as well, so I'll hopefully be sharing that soon too. If you've been on my Instagram, you've seen me putting together my recipe book in the Life Crafted album. This one I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the Paisley Press puffy stickers that weren't actually included in the kit this year. You had to buy them separate and they were discounted because they were missing a few numbers. But I did love this group of colors, the pink and the mustard. Oh, that really gets me. I love that combination. So I'm planning on doing something. My thought is like a little pull-out tabs 1 through 6 and maybe like writing on this side and photo on the back. I'm not 100% sure yet what that'll look like. It likely won't be in a page protector, but I did just put it in this page protector here to keep it in here and to kind of give it its placeholder so that as I come to it, it's not just floating around in my stash and I lose it or forget about it. This is one of the 3x4 transparent cards, and I just love that pop of black and then the gray Let's Get Cozy. This is also from the Hey Santa collection. I can't remember where these plastic numbers are from. They're, I think, a Studio Calico kit ages and ages ago. I haven't subbed to Studio Calico for about a year now, but I have tons of stash, and so these have been living in my December daily box for a few years now. And then another one of the Hey Santa cards on the back. This vellum from the Hey Santa was so gorgeous. I just love it, and I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I kind of just put it in here as a bit of a divider. Maybe I'll add something to it. Maybe I'll take it out of the page protector and punch it straight into the rings. I really don't know yet. I just know that I want to use it, and it's so pretty. I'm down to my last few handful of these tags. These tags were so fantastic. These, I believe, are from the 2015 December daily kit. And so really the last couple of years I've been very dictated by which numbers I have left. And so I think I used 7 last year. I've got 8 left now. And that'll pop in there. And then I just have a few extra page protectors scattered throughout here. I'm not shy to pull them from the back either, if I sometimes keep them all at the back, but sometimes I find it just spaces things out a little bit better to have them kind of dropped in throughout. I am loving this new page protector design from Allie this year. It's got 4x6 at the top and 2 3x4s at the bottom. Definitely a page protector design that I've been looking for a long time. The normal is to have the 2 3x4s at the top and the 4x6 at the bottom, which is also a great design. I'm not saying anything against that, but I'm loving this look at the divided at the bottom as well. So I just have that little Santa and the number 9. Again, these things might not actually get used on day number 9, but they're there because I know I want to use them at some point. This page, so I took a piece of transparency, and this is just transparency that I ordered on Amazon. It's meant for running through your printer. I have a laser and an inkjet printer here in my office, so I can print on these transparencies as well. But what I did is I just cut it out in the correct shape, and these stickers are all from Ellie's Studio, and these are from the December release, and they're the cookie stickers. And oh my gosh, if I should probably order a few more because they're so good. I could use these 10 million times. And so I just created this little bit of a divider and put the Taste of Christmas on there, and I absolutely adore how it turned out. Just so great, and such a cute little way to use up stickers. So one of the things that I have found in the past is I tend to kind of just sit on the things that I really like because I'm afraid I'll wreck them, and I'm sure that that's a sentiment that many of you can relate to. And I'm just trying to give myself permission to use the stickers this year. Get the stickers on paper. I have so many. I have so many great stickers. And every year new great stickers come out. So I just wanted to give myself a little bit of like internal permission to use those things and get them down onto the paper. I put another little envelope in here for 11. This is a kind of a cool swirl marbled transparency. I think this is from Felicity Jane a few years ago. And it's a little bit of a thicker one in comparison to like the one that I made myself. The ones that you can run through the printer are considerably thinner than the ones that a lot of the companies provide. So that's something to consider when you're looking at making your own transparencies. But I haven't found, like, other than the feel of them as you turn them, they hold up at about the same rate. Like, I wouldn't say they're less or worse than the big thick ones. This is a cut file from Citrus Twist, North Pole Express, the little viewfinder. I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm going to do with this. I probably won't leave it in the rings. I'll probably do like a little attacher or something like that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to put all of our movies in it this year or something else, but it was kind of a cool little shape, and I wanted to cut it and see how it would fit into my album. And I do love the size of it. I think I did size it up a little bit from what Natalie had it at originally, but it's a really, really cute little file. So that's from Citrus Twist. This 1 through 12 is also from Ellie Studio, and they provided a bunch of these 3x8 pages this year, and so cute, just so cute. And I loved how these side-by-side 3x8s turned out in my album last year. So I'm going to try to use a few of those again this year. And I'm thinking like a 12 favorite things or a 12 things we're doing right now. I did one similar to that a few years ago with stitching and the squares, but this one just has the stitching printed on, so it's a little bit less. I like how neat that is, and leaves lots of room for adding my things into there. This Marion Bright is from Geraldine in a Creative Bubble. She released a bunch of new Christmas printables this year, and I love her printables. I've used quite a few of them in the past, and I really liked, I bought, I think, both the 3x8 and the Traveler's Notebook size, and they're all great. So if you haven't checked out her shop, that's in a Creative Bubble, and she's got tons of great holiday stuff. This one is actually from the Paisley Press mini kit, and it was on a 6x8 page, and I just cut it in half. I think the other side was meant to be like a to-do list. I have an idea that it was meant to be cut to put into these, and so now I can use the other half somewhere else in the album. But this one is just like holiday checklist, and then it's got some things on there. So that's probably around a good time of the month for me to have some of those checklisty style things, or I can put a playlist or something like it's got music here. So that'll be a fun thing to do. For 13 here, I've got one of the 2x2 page protectors, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do all circles or if I'm going to do squares. I did one all circles a few years ago, and I really, really loved how it looked. But it requires, I hate the circles that are like not quite cut out right. So I'll have to use my silhouette to do that when the time comes, and I'll cut out my photos with the silhouette as well so that they are perfect circles. And I didn't want to get too much ready in advance for that now. And this also provides me a spot where I can get crafty a little bit in the next couple of weeks, because there's still a few weeks left until December 1st that I might have some time to sit down and do some crafting. I made this big envelope with the We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board, and it was just a great piece of pink, light pink cardstock that I had on hand. I believe this is from Felicity Jane as well, when she started producing her own two-tone cardstock that matched her kits really, really well. And so I've always loved this really light blush pink. You can see that kind of repeated through the album here. And this vellum piece of the bow I just thought was the ultimate. This is from the Hey Santa collection from Crate Paper. So I'm not sure yet what will fit in there, whether I'll make like an envelope liner. I'm not super sold on the really bright pink on the inside, but I might add something in there, or maybe even a photograph that kind of folds out as you open the envelope. So I like the look of that. I think that's looking pretty cool. The reason I wanted to do an envelope punched into the rings like this, it was all the cute little stamp items in the Hey Santa collection. So some of these are the stickers, and some of them are the ephemera, like this is a vellum and this is a paper one. And I just thought having them all together there on the back of the envelope was kind of a cute idea. You'll notice that for most of the cards that I've put in here, I'm sticking with kind of like the neutral black and white, or I've got the pink and white a little bit as well. This is probably the most colorful page that I've got happening in the album at the moment, and this is just using a bunch of different papers and stickers from the Hey Santa collection, and the 2 3x4 pocket page underneath. And this is where I really just kind of gave myself permission to use the stickers that were fun. Anything that looked like it was cute and fun and I thought I might like, I just stuck it down. And then I lined the edge, so this is a small page protector. I lined the edge with washi tape and then hole punched it so that I can get a little bit of that color into the seams as well. Now this is sticking up a lot more than I want it to right now, and that's because they're all folded. And so as I get closer to actually adding some photos or journaling into this little stack, I'll probably find a way to keep it more flat, whether that's sewing it down after I've added the photos so that it's a little bit less, or trying to trim some of the bulk out of there. But I've got the 16 on the second one there. So that was just kind of a cute little crafty opportunity to play with paper, and I cut some of them with tabs and some of them scalloped, and it turned out quite nice. I do like the look of it. And there's the back. You can see just the fold over of those ideas there. So it's not perfect and it's pretty bulky. So I'll probably try to reduce the bulk on that as I work on it. Here we've got some of the little Instax page protectors from Citrus Twist Kits. And so this one holds 4 of the minis, and this one holds 2 minis and a wide. I have the mini printer and my husband has the wide and the square camera. That's kind of his medium is Instax. And so I can see myself printing off or maybe even borrowing that wide camera to take some photos. This is also not, like you could easily cut down a 4x6 card to fit in here. It's quite a bit smaller, but it's not unreasonably so. And a lot of cards have like a lot of extra space around the edge. You could still probably get a sentiment onto there pretty easily. This was a great little gold star transparency from Allie's shop. I think this was from the 2019 December daily supplies, but then I also hot glue gunned the 18 on the front. And I think this is where this is the first one I hot glued, and I did the glue in the middle and you can kind of see it through, which is why I was so careful with the ones on the front to make sure that I tried to get the glue on the stitching line so that it wasn't visible. I'm sure there are other ways you could attach these as well. I just thought that hot glue seemed like the easiest and hardest to get off kind of way of sticking them on there in a way that would be a little bit less destructible. And not that my albums really go through a lot of wear and tear. I'm probably the one that handles them the most, and I know to be careful, so they're usually pretty good. Here's an example of a tag with huge ribbons, and this will require me to kind of pin it down in there near the end, but I won't do that until I've got some idea of what's going with it. Here's a piece from last year's Color Cast Designs release, Let's Stay Home, in that light cherry pink. I think it's called Cherry Blossom on her site. And then one of Geraldine's printables just changed the color over to pink instead of, I think it was green originally. Possibly red, I'm not 100% sure anymore. Holiday Baking, also from Geraldine's in a Creative Bubbles release. Here's a nice fun one. This is an Ellie Studio card, and this is from Liz in the Paisley Press Mini. And then just some pieces like Life in December, stuff that I knew I wanted to use. I think I grabbed this one out of my son's hands because he was about to put it into his album. I was like, no, let mommy have that back. He's very excited. I gave him the 4x4 kids kit that I bought a couple of years ago. He wasn't super into it the year I bought it, and he's super into it now, so that's kind of going to be exciting to see what he does. It's certainly not going to have the same kind of effect as mine, but it's going to tell our Christmas story in a bit of a different way. I have never used this page design here with the 2x2s on the bottom and the 4x6 on the top, so I'm a little apprehensive about that one just because I don't have a lot of ideas for it yet, and I'm not 100% sure, so that might be something that I tend to play with. I might fill these up as triangles and then fuse them. I'm a quilter, so the half square triangles are fun, but this is not really enough to do a good quilting design. I could do maybe a chevron or something, that might be fun, but it's not quite enough to mimic what I would normally do for sewing. This is also from the Hey Santa gift wrap pack, and the tickets are from the ephemera, but this is a tag that I had at the house already, a nutcracker or something similar. And I'm not 100% sure yet what else might go in here. Maybe a good spot for kind of small things or a note or something that Max writes down, but some opportunities there for a different texture. I'm really loving these transparent cards or transparency cards with the December stories in the kind of the copper foil. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this. My first thought was like something that could flip up so you could see what was behind it. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll add something on it or write on it. I think Allie showed writing on it, which seems like it would be kind of a fun idea to try. This might not stay here. This might move to the back. I just thought these little pockets were such a cute size and such great designs that I didn't want to pass them up. And I only put one in because the other brown one didn't really feel like it was quite going with my vibe. Maybe it would. That might be something I add in back later. If I tend to use more of the neutrals and more of that like cream colored neutral, I might add that back in. But for now, I thought this one with the trees and the kind of the copper snowflake was kind of a fun one to put in here. So we'll see what I do with that. Likely what would happen is this might be for stuff that comes home from school with Max, like drawings or artwork or something like that. And then I would probably move it to the very back so that it's just kind of a catch-all place. I really love the page that I made last year with everything cut into tags. So I did prep some more tags here. And I love tags because it's just such a great opportunity to use ribbon. And if you've been hanging around here for a while, you know that ribbon is my love language. I've actually got like a massive tangle of ribbons right to my right as I'm speaking to you. But it's fun, it's quite, it's very textural, and like I say, I'm a sewist, so for me, adding any kind of fabric in is very exciting. This one is just a little craft pocket with a tag in it, and again, I really like that look. I'm not certain I love the pinks together. They're not quite the same pink, so that this might flip to the other side while the pink tag is on this side. And I probably will round the corners on this because I don't love the rounded corner on top of the square corner. If I'm going to round, I want everything round, or if I'm going to square, I want it all square. And it wouldn't be enough for me to go back through the rest of the album and round everything. But I think on this one card, I would probably, that would be the way that I would go, is choose to round both of them rather than leaving one square and one rounded. And then I've got this Twinkle, Twinkle, Twinkle transparency. This, oh, okay, I'm excited about this one. So I actually bought this last year, and what it is it's the flippy sequins. And I thought I had kept the roll close by so that I could show it to you, but it looks like I put it away. But it comes on like a 6-inch wide roll at Michael's. I bought this. I believe it was in the ribbon aisle because, as you know, that's probably where I hang out when I go to Michael's. But it's the flippy sequins. So you can flip it up, and it's not perfect because I cut the 25 out of paper and then I glued it all together so that it's quite stiff. And I put like 505 temporary adhesive on the back of the fabric. So it's just fabric adhesive that's used for quilting. But I don't know that it stuck really well. If I was to do this again, I would maybe take some, like even just a white glue stick on the back of the fabric to adhere it to the paper on the other side. And then I used red line tape on the inside right around all the edges of the numbers to stick it on top. And then I trimmed the sequins all the way around, and I end up with tiny pieces of sequins all over my desk. But I am feeling like it's worth it because look at how much fun this is, and it's so textural and it's so interactive. I'm really loving the look of it and the feel of it. And I think it's also a bit of a moment in time because I don't know that the flippy sequins will be popular forever, but they certainly still are now. So that's kind of a fun way to lead into my day 25 stuff, which in the past I've gone 2 different ways with day 25. I've gone like tons of photos or like 1 photo. So it'll really depend on how I'm feeling when we get there, whether this ends up being a whole section of the album or just like a, here's the quick story and we're done. I included the calendar at the back. Sometimes I've done my calendar at the beginning of the season, and sometimes I've done my calendar at the end of the season, and I think I like it best doing the calendar at the end of the season. So I just added in a few of the stickers, the number stickers, again from that Paisley Press Puffy sticker package. And this is the calendar that came in the Paisley Press kit, and then I'll probably go back and add other embellishments or tiny little photos into the rest of these squares at the end of the season. So that's what my foundation pages are looking like at the moment. I struggled a little bit with putting together foundation pages this year simply because I've been torn between this desire to be more crafty and to get it ready. And I think that I'm very happy with where this has landed. I have an idea that as the month goes, or even between the time that I upload this video and December 1st hits, I'll still do a lot more work in here. Just kind of adding some of those really crafty elements like that circle page, and possibly some more stuff with multiple embellishments, or even getting some of those pull-out pages ready, because I do like to have some of that stuff done in advance. But I thought I would share it with you just to give you an idea of where I'm at, and my general overall color scheme. So kind of going for that dark green, the light pink, and then the neutrals along with it. And so that might mean recoloring some stuff and printing it out on my own, or using digital cards that I already have. But I think I'm going to be happy with the direction that it's going to take. Shoot me any questions you have in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to answer questions on product. I think I tried to say where most of it came from. But if there was something that I wasn't clear on, or that you'd like to know, just let me know, and I'm happy to let you know where to find it. Thanks so much. Have a great day.